everybody, it's the Redstone Wizard here again, bringing you another Redstone tutorial. This time what I got for you is my 2x2 spruce tree farm. So, real quick, the tutorial is only going to be covering how to make the farm itself and maybe starting on getting the logs out of the system. And I'll explain a few things just to make it a little easier on which direction to bring the logs out. I am running a few command blocks in here. I've got this one over here, one over there. The whole purpose is just to break the logs that appear here. I destroy them so that the system can keep running. And then I have another one right here for the planting of the sapling, so you can actually watch it process without having to be anything. Now, when it comes to using this, you first off have to have your saplings. Come up, place your saplings down. I know it's a little inconvenient, and then come down, place, and then just hop in, and then just start holding just a little bit before the block. And the whole purpose is so that you can place them before the bone meal starts. And it consistently, at that point, starts pulling the logs out. Before that, it was having a little trouble consistently doing it, so I made it where it was consistent. I made it where you have to do that to make it consistent. Now, we are fully unautomated. You'll only get a maximum of 24 high logs, and it processes them out in about 14 seconds. And it processes them out within a certain process, so, and only a certain set. And then it pulls them out and then activates. So, what do you say, guys? Let's get to building this thing. Alright, guys. I'm back. And everything we need to build that is in these boxes. There might be some changes from the boxes in here, because when I set this up, I made a few changes in between. So, yeah, and I'll explain those changes. Just make it a little easier. So, you're going to need 9, 12, over 12 stacks of sticky pistons, at least one regular piston. I am using an unloader, so I'm using a regular piston. So, and then at least 4 stacks of observers plus 7-ish. Almost 5 stacks of dust, almost a stack of blocks, of redstone blocks. 14 redstone torches, might need a little less. 31 repeaters. 48 slabs. These slabs are specific for the logs to be able to move out due to the way I'm having them processed. And I'll explain why it's like that. Same thing with the walls. This is just to be able to get up and down from the system. So, 5 target blocks. Let's see here. 12 powdered snow, or something that will produce a signal strength of 3. However you do it, it's up to you. I'm using powdered snow, so, and cauldrons, so that's why these are there. Water buckets, water and water buckets. You need a total of, well, if we divide this up into 6, that's 8 total. So total of signal strength of 8 for this side and the other side. And then you also need about a stack of comparators, 2 powered rails, 48 sticky blocks. I did try to eliminate as many of these as possible. That's why it's only 48 for the entire tree farm. 11 droppers, 2 dispensers. One of them is used for the unloader. A bunch of hoppers, 35. I'm using an iron trap, an iron door. You can use any 2-block redstone activated that the observer can detect. a lever to turn it on and off, 60 pieces of obsidian, 25 random blocks, 36. I'm using cauldrons, so again, it's for power control. A bunch of blocks to build with, at least a stack and a half of dirt, and 2 stacks plus a quarter for logs. I recommend 48 stairs, specifically spruce stairs because it's a spruce farm. And there's a reason why. I'll explain that in a moment. This is for the unloader, and about almost 2 stacks of glass. So I'm just going to pull out a little bit of everything. So we'll do this the easy way. We'll just grab all of this, break these, and first things first is we're going to set up our location for our farm. Now, where the dispenser has to be placed, it has to be placed on the south side of the most eastern block. If that makes it, and the one way that I determine that, besides just constantly, is you can use many ways. I prefer using the railway. Place 4 regular rails, and then place one in the center. This will always point towards the east and the south. So we need it on the southeast. Oh, we need it the southeast block on the south side. So it is right here is where we're going to need the dispenser. So underneath, we're going to first place a temporary block. We will grab our droppers, place 2 droppers. We can take that out. And a dispenser. Now, the one thing I didn't mention is we're going to need a lot of bone meal because of how the detection system operates. So make sure you bring a lot of bone meal. So on this dropper, we're going to place an observer pointing down with a comparator on the side. Grab a redstone block, place it with a piece of dust on the side, and that will activate when this system is full. So what happens is these will be transporting items up into here while it is bone mealing the sapling right here. This one will maintain one lower. So when it reaches full, because this is full, it will activate this observer. And because we're going to be using it, let's just place a solid block on the face of it. That'll drop a lot of stuff down. Now we'll place a temporary block there. Grab your piston. Now the reason why I'm using a piston here versus any other block is 1, I can prevent the piston from firing by pointing it that way. It will never fire into that comparator breaking it. Because there is no, unless you happen to accidentally place something here. But, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. So then, what we're going to do is, off of the piston, down 1 block, we're going to place any block you want, a solid block there, and a solid block there, and throw your 2 power rails right on top. And the one thing I forgot to mention is a minecart, but I'm pretty sure it should have been obvious. So we'll throw the minecart on, and under here, we'll grab a lever. And throw it on right there. Because now, the minecart bounces back and forth, while the system is just there. And this isn't getting powered, the rails aren't getting powered, so it is controlled. Very important. So now, we need to grab our sticky pistons. We are going to be pulling the blocks out from this line right here. So from here, we're going to go out 1, 2. We can place some temporary blocks. You go 2-block gap. And grab our sticky pistons. Place one there. And then one behind it. So if we activate this, it'll grab the block there, close it, and pull it out. This is our line. So on this side, same thing, a 2-block gap. I'm just using this as a positioning. And we'll leave those right there. This is the ones that are going to be pulling out all the logs. But we need to move the logs one direction. Now, this line right here is our movement line. So based around how you want to move them. If you want them to move out towards the back of the farm, that's fine. If you want to move them out towards the front of the farm, that's fine too. It doesn't matter. Your choice. But you'll just I'm going to be having these go out towards the front. So we'll set it up for the front. So we'll place 3 here. And 2 here. And we do the exact same thing on this side. 2 here. 3 here. And that is just to be able to power all of these. In fact, you might even go... Yeah, you have to do 2 here. 3 here if you're going in the opposite direction. We'll throw a sticky piston there and a sticky piston there. Grab our observers. Throw 1 there, 1 there. Same thing here. Grab your logs. Place them on here. It doesn't matter if they're this way, because when these get activated, they're going to be pushing these out. So so these don't have to be logs. They could be whatever. You could even have you could have moss here, or nothing here. You need something here that will not allow this piston to get pushed. So we're going to take our obsidian, place 1 here, place 1 here. Now that's our tree extraction. Completely done. Leaves the piston layout. So next is we're going to do another piston layout. So we're going to set those just 2 temporary blocks. We need to push them out towards this way to activate so that these pistons can pull them. So we're going to place our sticky piston in the back. We're going to place 1 on the side and 1 on the face and repeat it over on this way. Grab our observers, place them here and here. And just to prevent things from activating weirdly, we're just going to place 2 solid blocks there. That will stop these from going here, activating these when we don't want them to be activated. It can cause a huge problem. So now we've got that one set. Now, it occasionally can happen that you will get leaves that grow right here, which will prevent you from placing saplings. We need to be able to place saplings there. So from here, we'll go out 2 blocks, leaving a 2-block gap. And just like the other one, we'll place 2 down, 2 down, 1 in the center, 1 there. Observers on the outside, because that will activate these temporarily. And we will place a stair with them pointing down like this for one very specific reason. If we drop something here, it will push itself off and fall. Perfect. That's absolutely what we needed to do. So now, with this setup, we just need to build it. We need to build it all up to 23 more layers of this. And that's where most of the pistons go. So I'm going to put the 23 layers up, 23 additional layers, and then we will continue on with the wiring out back here of these systems, and I'll explain how that works. So I'll be right back. Alright guys, we're back, and I've got the entire piston walls set up. Now, next step is pretty easy. We'll grab our dirt blocks over here, over everywhere where pretty much all of this. We're just going to cover up with dirt. Just to, one, have a nice spot we can just stand on and build this part. I'm doing this specifically this way just so that we could see what we're doing. Okay, so right here, after we mark out the center where the tree will grow, from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more blocks of dirt. This will prevent the trees guaranteed from going past that, and it does increase the rates. Looks a little weird, but you know what? It works. And you can even cover up all of this with dirt if you want. That's pretty much how I leave it. Now, we need to grab our solid blocks again. Starting at the bottom row. Just make a line going every other one. And this goes with all the sides. And then we are going to put dust on every single solid block. Now, the reason why we're doing it this way is because we are using signal strength to determine the length of which pistons are active and which ones are not. And so that has its advantages. So let's just finish this one up, and we do it to every single one. So I'm just going to speed this up for you guys, just so that you guys don't have to just completely sit through the 10 minutes of me just placing everything here. Okay, now that we got that set, time to set up for our pistons. So, we're going to set a block every... We're going to have pretty much a block. Doesn't have to be a solid block. Right on the bottom. Skip one. Right on the bottom. And we're just going to go up on this first side. And then we're going to go over a block and do the exact same thing. Now these will activate all of these, and then this last one we're just going to set at the very edge. Now, if you are building this where they come out on this side, these are going to be flipped. Because I'm going out that way, they have to be this way. Then we're going to throw a comparator on every single one of these. And I'll be explaining why I'm going to be, this is the reason why I'm going to be using the cauldrons for this. Because it will make a lot more sense. And just because I don't want to fight with weather, I'm just grabbing a potion. So on the back of every single one of these, I'm just going to be placing a cauldron. And yes, this has to be done to the other side also. And this one, we're going to put 2 in, 2 in. We're going to be putting 2 in all of these. And then if you have powdered snow, lava, or even buckets of water, fill them all the way up to 3. Now this is where our slime blocks are important. Place your slime blocks on the sides of every single one of the back sides of these. And I will get the other side done too. And other than this top row, we're going to place redstone blocks on top. This is how I'm keeping the activation system small and compact and controlled without having to do much. Then under here, place a sticky piston pointing up into that slime block and do it with all the other ones. Make sure they're pointing upwards. Now, to make this easier, I'm just going to power these. And I'm just going to take and place my sticky piston right on top, just to activate. And it pushes them all up, activates whatever part of the system it is. Okay, so now, if we turn this off, I guess that just push those out. But, and these. Okay, yeah, so you keep those there. So if it happens to push it out like this, just take and break them, replace these logs. And you might actually have to just do them one at a time. So now that that's set, if I just happen to place this here, I'm just going to make this all the way up, just to show you what happens. And we'll step out here. This one is activated just to keep them pushing out here. If I activate this one, it'll take that log. It should take that log, unless I don't have one set right. It looks like I'm missing something. Yeah, pistons. So we'll activate it again. Now all the logs are... Activate this. And now let's push them out. Activate. All the logs are pulled out. And then if we close this and close this, we got our solid wall here. And that's how this gets activated here. Now, for this one, this one's even easier. Anywhere along here, don't matter where, but because we are pushing them out. Here, do not place them here. It will not work. It's recommended I recommend placing them in the middle. And do the exact same layout with the piece of obsidian instead. Or you can even use glazed terracotta, crying obsidian, whatever you want. It's not as important. So then we'll just place a repeater. You could use a repeater. You could use whatever you want. You just have to be able to power both sides. Place a slime block, a redstone block, slime block, redstone block, and go all the way up. And we're going to utilize this system also for the retraction. On this bottom one, we will place you there. We'll power you for now. Sticky pistons all the way up. Make sure you grab and then break. And that will pull all these pistons here in their place. So if we just make a huge wall and activate, and then deactivate. These ones are now in the position to be able to be pulled out. So this gets activated the whole time. Then this one, a few moments, pull them out. And then we push them out, close it, and there we go. Trees are cleared. So what we do here, we're going to mirror over on this side. What we did here, we are going to mirror on this side. Exactly the same thing. So let me get this process set up. Let me get these other parts in, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, we're back. And I got all 4 sides of the redstone done. I did take out those extra logs. Just to make sure, make it look better. At least process, so I can walk in here. But yeah, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take our dropper. We're going to go here. We're going to go out 6 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. We can just take these out. Crouching. We're going to place a bunch of droppers going in. And then we're going to take and place an observer here. Drop it down 1. And then just because, then we'll place one right here. Now this is going to create a clock. Because we're going to grab a sticky piston. Push it up like this. And we'll just throw a lever. That'll create a clock which will power this one, and this one. And when it shuts off, it'll do that. So next is we're going to take and run some solid blocks. Coming over onto this side right over here, we're going to place a row of observers. Off of this observer, you can skip every other one. And then get a block that will be able to transmit signals, or including the observer. And you can just throw them in here. This is one of the few changes I made after gathering all the resources. It cuts down on the need of quartz. Then you can grab yourself any block. I'm going to be using the glass. Take your door. Throw it on. That will, while this system is on, if I put my lever here, flip it, it'll activate this door repeatedly, constantly, and boom. And the reason why we're using the door is because we don't want this piston firing at all. So no solid block there. So you're either stuck with a piston or a door. Sorry. No choice about that one. Of course, you could probably put another thing right here. Dust, but I'm keeping the dust fairly low. So then here is your input. So all you have to do is just get yourself a bunch of bone meal, put it in, have a massive chest system, or just a simple unloader for it will work. So now under here, off of this block, we're going to place a sticky piston. A redstone block will go down 2 blocks, place a dust on it with a solid block. In fact, I'm going to switch this with the glass because we don't need it. Another block. We'll throw a repeater on it into a solid block. And then you could either come down like this. And run dust all along here. Powering that, or going up, however. As long as when you flip this lever, the system activates and activates the rails. And then you can just take, and I'm just setting this here, and scaffolding is great for this part. able to get up in line with the rail. And I just set another one there. That'll just keep you in there. So now that we got this activated, let's take and place a glass block there. Grab a repeater. Place it here. Put it vortex. Solid block on its face. Grab a sticky piston. Setting right there with an observer. Going backwards. A solid block. With, we can use glass here. And glass here. Grab a repeater. Gotta get it where I can place it. Set it down and put them both on vortex. Going into a solid block. And we can place glass here and here. Grab dust, place it here. Grab your, I'm gonna grab a comparator. Place it here. Torch. Place it on the side of this. And grab your target blocks. Target block going up. Torch on the target block. Hoppers. Base them going into each other, registering from the comparator. Now take your 25 random items, separate them out till you have 17. No, not 17, 15. And place them in one hopper. They will all filter into the right one, into the correct one. Then we'll place a solid block there. Grab a comparator reading out of that one with a dropper pointing towards the back. Make sure you don't break your hoppers. And a hopper going into there. And we will run our... Now place 2 blocks on the sides with a solid block. These ones don't have to be solid. This one does. Comparator's running out of all of these. And one item inside of the dropper. You can place it by the comparator. Now, you don't want saplings falling in. Just cover up your hoppers with solid blocks. You don't have to use anything with an inventory because it causes the hoppers to actually work a little harder, and we don't want to do that. And then we'll place a solid block up there, put a dropper going down, and a dropper going up. Take that block out. We'll place a block there, and should have placed our comparator there, then place the solid block with that, and a block in there, a piece of dust up, any random block in there, and then we will grab ourselves a sticky piston, and go out 1 block away from here, place it there. We don't want to power that. So we can take and place... We can just place... No, we don't. No, we need the... I'm trying to remember. Okay, let's pop over here. I can't remember how I did this. Oh. Okay, so I did it... Okay. I have it wrong. So we can actually just drop this down 1. This could be any block we want. Oh, wrong way. Comparator into a solid block. into a... Because we're going to do two things. One... that's why. Okay. Then we're going to take a torch on the side of this dropper, place it down, a block down, over another solid block behind this, and 2 pieces of dust right there. That will power that. And while the system is running, while no trees are processing, the bone meal will stop processing over and stop this dispenser and cut the risk of it breaking off. So now that we got that set up, we'll grab our sticky piston on the bottom here. Observer. Yes, I know. I'm looking back and forth because it's so much easier. Down. And this is creating a pulse extender that will actually double. So this pulse extender is very important. So we'll place a block there, block up, throw a 4-tick repeater right here, and we will throw dust right there. Now what this does is while this system is processing, it's going to first off fire once and then fire again twice, because first time it fires is when no items are coming in, and the second time it fires, the first time it fires is when this comparator registers this item. Then the second time it fires is when this comparator loses the item. So we have the double firing. And we are using a very simple, short pulse extender here. So we will set up 3 in a row, 1 block at the same level, dust all of this, grab a comparator, place it in there. We'll place some glass here, and they don't have to be glass, it could be whatever you want. 4-tick repeaters to be able to increase the delay. And now we got our control circuitry pretty much done, other than the one that will power this one and this one. So from here, we're going to put a saw block up, and in case, and we'll do the exact same thing we did on the other one, on this one over here. We'll make a comparator clock, and we'll make a variable pulse extender because it's so much more compact than what would be needed for the other pulse extender. And we'll throw the 8 items in there. We will throw a comparator reading out of this back hopper onto a solid block with a torch on top, a block on the torch, a torch on the side going back to the piston, and a block on the piston. So when this system fires, that will activate those, pushing out all that, and then after a while, it will close up. And the delay is just to prevent anything from breaking. So now, we've got these ones right here. So if we take and put a solid block, throw a sticky piston with a solid block on it, go down and over, and just run this along. We'll throw a solid block here just to be able to keep certain aspects limited. And just run it here. We could actually, let's move this over 1 to keep it from messing around with that redstone, because we don't want it to activate. We can throw a redstone torch there and run our dust all the way up. Now, even though the torch is on this block here, this is a transparent block, I can power this dust and that torch will not go off. So placing it like that will just power the torch. Oh, it would power that. It's the same as if I have a solid block here and a torch here. I just wanted it there. And then that will power this line for as long as the system is active. Next is we come over here. We do a solid block, a sticky piston with a solid block, leave a gap, throw a torch on the side, and we need to run it all the way to right here. Now this side gets a little more complex because, 1, you need to go down 2, and then we can snake our way over to the system. We don't want to put it right. We don't want to put it right here because that will interfere with there. We can just run it here. There we go. Just run the lines out. And then make sure you dust it all up, because these are powering that. So if we activate this piston, break it, you'll see that both of these get activated, and they stay active for a good amount of time. That's almost half of it. And down. So now what we got to do is take these signals and run them all the way up here. Now, the way I'm doing it over here is using a torch tower to power it. And like I said, it can get confusing with some of this placement of the blocks. So, first thing is, we are going to place solid blocks here. And then we're going to run dust up until we are in line somewhat with that piston. Same thing with this one. And then we'll put a solid block at the end. One side happens to be a little bit better at it than the other, but okay, so now we'll place a torch, a solid block. Now the issue when you're dealing with some of these is you need to have it at we need to have a solid block there, and that is for this one specifically. And you don't need them powered. So if you have to, you can get as creative as you need by going backwards. So there we go. Going backwards, powering them, and obviously dust going up. Dust going up. And we want a solid block there, so we will drop it down. Solid block. And let's drop this down 1. Like I said, it can get quite confusing setting this up. So let's see how I did this side. I actually had that a little more compact. But yeah. Okay, so the first one will be powered. Let's keep this one turned off. And then we will... Boom. Okay, I need that powered. This one has to be turned off. So if we go here, turn off. Planning on how you set your dust up is crucial because now those are all turned off. Let's pop in here and make sure that these are all correct. If they're not correct, all you have to do is come down here, take your redstone block, power. It should, if set right, power this. Make sure they're all pulled out. And then break it, which will pull them all back in. Wait a couple of seconds, that's all you need. And those are pulled back in. Perfect. Now we're going to take our sticky pistons. We'll place one there. We'll grab an observer. Place it here. One there. Any block you want. A 4-tick repeater. A target block on here. And we'll set a 3x3, a 2x3, comparator, comparator, dust, dust. This will cause this, in fact, actually this one doesn't need that. It could be a solid block there. And we need a solid block here. Glass, or whatever block you want. Solid block, random block with dust, a sticky piston going off of the observer, off of the repeater, an observer going down, a solid block right there with a set of glass going down to this bottom dropper. And we'll just run the dust. Make sure nothing crosses. Because this, what this is going to do is it's going to keep this up for this length. And then when it's done, this is going to power and turn this one so that it's now pulsing twice. So we do the exact same thing over here. Off of this, lock, observer. This one needs to be a target block. And we will add our repeater on 4 ticks. Glass. Actually, no, that doesn't need, that shouldn't need to be a target block if done right. Repeater, comparator, dust. Then we will run a repeater out of this. You can immediately place it right, do a solid block there. Making sure that nothing is touching. We will run it to here. We need a, if we go to, we're going to go to the inside, so this needs to go one less. run your dust all the way across. Nothing will be getting power. Nothing's going to power this dust except for that one repeater. Under here, we will throw a sticky piston pointing up to pull this block out. A glass block. In fact, actually, I think I have this set in the wrong spot. But a comparator comes out here while that's powering. So if I... boom. We'll flip it. That'll pull that. A solid block. Yeah, I did have it wrong. There's that. A redstone block on top of that. On the side of the redstone block. One block up. There. And then we will place the solid block here with our dust running to that. We don't need that. There we go. Now what happens is the first time it fires, it's going to push this up. It's going to push this sticky piston up, powering this, which then will hold this line, hold it until this line, which this repeater needs to be set onto 4 ticks, turns off, which then will also drop these down and prevent it from firing again. And now all you have to do is get a block, get some way to move your blocks out. Now, if you want, and now for collection, grab yourself, I'm just using droppers for this because it works out great. We'll place the dropper here, grab our comparator, or hoppers, and just, and then just run your hoppers all the way around anywhere where there's an open gap. Because that open gap is a potential spot you can get leaves. Even on this side. And that dust will not power those, so you're good there. Now we got everything collecting. And just put some type of a clock to make sure that that will constantly work while items are processing. It don't matter. Nothing will be interfering with each other. And anytime a sapling goes in here, let me grab some saplings. Throw those in. It will dispense them out. That shouldn't be like that. Oh, now I remember. I was actually running the solid block there. The observer there. And running it this way. To avoid touching that. But however you want to set it up to get you your saplings is fine. Because that will dispense your sapling. Now, if you don't want to be breaking any leaves while doing this, while getting in and out, get something like a, like glow lichen, vine, something, and just place them here. That's it. That's all you have to do. That's everywhere you just have to place things. Because now when you walk in and out, all you have to do is walk in, flip the lever. Get in here. Flip the lever. And that's going. I don't have any bone meal in there. Flip it off when you leave. Everything will be collected. Now. Alright guys. This is editing. This is when I was in the process of editing. I noticed something, so I'm throwing it in now. I forgot to mention, how are we going to move the blocks around from here? Well, the easiest way is starting here, going one block up. We need to make sure that we get a piston in here. So we will we'll grab ourselves a sticky piston. Here comes the line of blocks. We can't have any blocks right here. That will lock that too. So we'll set it right there and set one on the back. And we'll go all the way up. This is just to get the blocks out of the system, all the way up. And come back over to the other side. Same thing. All the way up. Then we will take our observers, which I have in my inventory, and we'll set them going towards the sticky pistons. And I'll explain why we're doing it this way in one moment. So we get this all the way up, grab ourselves our solid blocks, because now what we're doing is setting up for individual activation. Now, I'm using walls. You don't have to use walls. So let's just go through some of the options you have. Obviously, you have a lot of walls. You could probably even you could use fences, and glass panes. Let's move you over here, move you up. And if I do remember correctly, these are here, iron bars. Now, the reason why we're using these is because, one, if we put a solid block here, it's supposed to change. But no, fence gate, okay, though it doesn't work. So this is, yeah, you have to use walls here. Walls are the only one will work. So we're going to top these off with walls. And then to prevent, because if we put a glass block here, it will keep going and doing it over and over and over again, and we don't want that. That's just going to create a clock, and that's just going to cause problems. So, can't put a solid block. We put a wall there, and then put a block here. It'll do this. It will work. So you could use that there. Can't use a wall there. Stairs there. That'll do the same. That'll be fine. So anything, walls, and then anything that when you place next to a wall, that won't do that. Right here. So stairs like this, slabs, fences, anything that is not going to cause the system to overload and cause it. And this is why I use slabs. But you could use stairs, any other block. On both of these, that will cause it to be able to process your logs as they come through. And it will activate them individually so that you're not trying to time it to be able to get it set. But you could time it later for splitting and things like that. And that right there is the part that is strictly up to you to be able to use it. So I don't have this filled with bone meal. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, leave a like. If you have any questions or comments, leave it down in the comment section. Any major issues, I recommend joining the Discord. Link to that will be in the description. There will be a world download in my Discord, so pop in there, check out Wizard's downloads. That's the world downloads for every thing that I make a world download for. If you want to support me, you can subscribe. But you guys, this is the Redstone Wizard. Enjoy building.